Okay. All right, good deal. I think everyone, it's pretty quiet out there regarding background noise. So welcome everybody, and especially a big welcome to any of our new members of our team. We are excited to have you all on the call tonight. And I am beyond grateful that this special guest is going to be with us for the next half hour or so. And Jill is an absolute superstar. So I'd love to introduce very, very special rock star in our company, Jill Berth. Jill Berth Iverson. She has a newer name than when we first met. Jill lives in Huntsville, Utah. She's married, and together she and her hubby have 7 amazing children. Wow. She is a 3-star Golden Circle, 3-star Crystal Executive, which means she is helping lots of people. That is a 6-figure earner in our company. She is the 2011 IsaBody Grand Champion, which she'll share a little bit more about that. 2013 Women of Isagenix Award recipient and the Spirit of Isagenix Award. And those are very, very prestigious awards that Jill received. She's an author of the book called Finding the Voice Inside You. It was endorsed by Jack Canfield and John Gray. She also has her own course called the 2-Week Turnaround, where she's able to help women with their mindset to identify and clear barriers that are holding them back from moving forward and achieving their goals. Her mission is to teach people to have the courage to be the person you've always wanted to be, the person God intends for you to be, and live your dreams. And with that, I would love to welcome our guest, Jill. Are you there?
I'm here.
Yay! So happy, and our team is so excited to meet you and to hear a little bit about your journey. So maybe you can just start a little bit about, just how you found Isagenix. I know a lot of people have seen the YouTube video that you've had, probably 3 million views by now. I share it. I still choke up from it, but there are some people on the call tonight that are new and maybe haven't heard your story. So I'd love to hear a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to be on this call. I love to give back and to serve. And I just want to bring up the culture of Isagenix and how supportive we are to each other, even though we're not financially connected or anything like that. And I love our culture so much. It's like a big family reunion every time we get together, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to take you guys back a little bit to when I was in 3rd grade. That's my first memory of even going on a diet. So I started my first diet when I was in 3rd grade, when the school nurse told me I was one fat little kid and needed to go home and get on a diet. And I was 142 pounds in 3rd grade. And so I went home and I cried to my mom, and the next day she put me on a diet. And so throughout my life, it's just been I swear I'm a professional dieter. I just have tried everything out there, from, the cabbage soup diet to the grapefruit diet to Jenny Craig. I mean, just so many different things out there. I even tried one that was called the hot dog and bologna diet. That's how desperate I was. So fast forward to 2010. And I finally was like, okay, something's got to change. And I'd hit that rock bottom place in my life. And I decided I was going to try out for the Biggest Loser show on TV. So I made my video, which is now the Jill Berth Isagenix video, the before footage from it. And I ended up being one of the semi-finalists for the show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great, because Bob and Jillian are going to finally kick my butt and I'm going to lose the weight. And around that same time, I have a good friend that I saw at the grocery store, and it was in January of 2010. And in January, most people are trying to lose weight, right? But in my grocery cart, I had ding dongs and donuts and chocolate milk and all this fattening stuff. And she's a nutritionist, and she came up to me. She's like, what in the world are you doing? I said, well, I'm one of the semifinals for the Biggest Loser show, and they told me I didn't quite look big enough at 263 pounds. So I'm going to try to hurry and pack on 10 more pounds in the next week. Do you think I can do it? She's like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. She's like, if you don't get on that show, you are going to do Isagenix, because she'd had a lot of good results with her clients, her patients, and things like that. So I didn't get on the Biggest Loser show, thank goodness, right? And I started my Isagenix program May 1st of 2010. And that was the same week that the Biggest Loser contestants went onto the ranch, the season I would have been on. And by the season finale, just 7 months later, I had already released 100 pounds. And I lost more body percent than any of them did. While they were on the ranch, like working out 8 to 12 hours a day. And I was just working out, 3 to 4 hours a week at home. And I went on to release 131 pounds, half my body weight. And I went from a size 22 to a size 4. And the miracle about all of this is that anytime I try any kind of diet before, I would always rebound, right? You lose 30, gain 40. You lose 40, gain 45. Like it's just that rebound effect. And you guys, I've been able to keep it off since 2011 when I finished my, the IsaBody challenge. And so, in Isagenix, you guys know that we have the IsaBody challenge, and it's just this big deal, right? Everybody wants to get the t-shirt. They want to get their $200 back in product. And so everybody does the Isagenix challenge. And so in 2011, out of 8,000 people that year, now it's like 30,000 people. I'm so glad I won it when I did, but it was 8,000 people that year. And I was the grand prize winner. And so it's just totally changed my life. Physically and financially, just because of my results and, everything I've been through, I have been able to create a 6-figure income, which has been amazing. I've been able to quit my job as a dental hygienist and be at home with my kids. And it's just been a dream come true for sure.
So I didn't know you were a dental hygienist like our founder, Kathy Cooper. Very cool. And what's really cool, Jill, which I'm sure you're so grateful for, is when you won, the grand prize was $120,000. And and they haven't done that since. Right now it's 25,000, but there's all, so that's so awesome.
Yes, it was such a blessing. The year before, I think it was 10,000, the Holly won, or 15 or something. Then they jacked it up to 120,000 and I won that year. It was a blessing for sure.
So it took you how many months to lose 131 pounds?
Okay, so I talked about this the other day on a corporate call. So back when I did the IsaBody challenge, they were 24-week challenges, which is 6 months, right? 24 weeks would be about 6 months. So I did 2 of those back to back. So it was an entire year. So the first IsaBody challenge I did in the first 6 months, I was down 80 pounds. And then the rest of it, I did the rest of it. Then I ended up releasing 131 pounds in a year. But they were way longer back then,
Absolutely. I'm just getting a little background noise. I think it might be Meg, Glenn.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. No problem. You could just mute yourself. No worries at all. So Jill, here's my question for you. And I think a lot of people have a similar question. It's something that I've always wanted to ask you. Because so many people, they see the before and the after. And with you and with so many other winners and just so many other transformations, and they don't see your wall-kicking moments, and they don't see the plateaus and the struggles and the challenges that you had to have experienced. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I just want people to get that it's not easy to do what you've done. And as a clinical nutritionist working with weight loss for so many years, 131 pounds is so awesome to be able to release that amount of weight and to transform your body and lose all that body fat. But just talk a little bit, if you can, about the challenges related to that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want you guys to know that I am a food addict. Like, I am Jill Berth. I am a food addict. Like, that's exactly, and that's why I do my course, the 2-week turnaround, because it's real life stuff. Like, getting people past those barriers and things. And so, to say, oh, I released 131 pounds and I've kept it off for this long, it is still a struggle for me every single day. Like, I have to make those choices every single day. And thank goodness we have the nutrition that we do that fuels our body so we're not hungry. And so, those kind of things. But just, don't look at me and think, oh my gosh, she has it all together. She doesn't ever have those days, because I have them a lot, for sure. And so I think that the thing that really kept me going and helped me get through those wall kicking moments, and I know you guys hear it a lot, that I had to really come down to why I was wanting to transform my body. And a lot of times, moms especially are like, well, we're doing it for our kids. We want to be healthy for our kids. We want to go out and play with our kids. Well, I felt really guilty because mine wasn't for my kids. I mean, I had little kids and I wanted to go play with them, but mine was because I would sit and watch The Biggest Loser show, and that's why I tried out for it. But I would sit and watch The Biggest Loser show with tears just rolling down my face, eating my pizza and drinking my Diet Coke. But I was watching it and I saw them go from like being this big and coming out this big. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to be an inspiration to other people like they were for me. So I grabbed this, Dr. Ina, when you told me that you wanted me to talk about this a little bit. This is my original vision board, and I'm just going to talk really quickly about vision boards because it was so powerful for me. So right here, it says your power to inspire. And that's what kept me going every day. When I wanted to eat the brownie with ice cream with hot fudge, because that and chips and salsa are like my thing, right? So when I wanted to eat that, I'm like, no, because I want to be that inspiration for other people, so that they can see that if I can do it, they can do it too. And that's honestly, I mean, people have to find that deep-seated why. And I work with a ton of people that are like, I don't know why. I'm like, and that's okay if you don't know why, but you have to, when you want to eat something that you should be, pat yourself on the back and say, not today, but maybe I can have it tomorrow. And so you give yourself that choice instead of, if someone was to tell me that I couldn't have a Snickers bar ever again, I'd want to poke them in the eye and run away. Because I'm like, if you tell me I can't have something, I'm going to eat 2 of them right in front of you. And so but to give yourself that choice that you can have it if you want, but you're choosing not to. The other thing I want to point out how powerful vision boards are is that I wrote this on my vision board when I weighed 263 pounds. Well, of course I had like the Ice Body Challenge on there, but I'm going to focus on this one right here, and you can't read it, but it says, I am so excited that Isagenix has chosen my before and after picture to go on the corporate website and all of the brochures and business cards. I am a grateful superstar. And I just focused on that, and I visualized, feeling is the secret. There's a book by Neville Goddard that is amazing called Feeling is the Secret. It's just really little, but as much as you can feel your dreams and goals. If your dream is to, go and play with your kids at the park, then lay there at night. The best time to visualize your dreams and goals is right before you fall asleep at night and right when you wake up in the morning, because that's the time that your subconscious mind is the most readily available to make your dreams and goals come true. And so I would just lay there at night and I would visualize winning the Ice Body Challenge and visualize inspiring people. And, no matter what your goal is, I coached a cute lady named Donna, and her goal, we finally found that her why was to be able to hide under her bed when her grandkids were trying to play hide and go seek with her so that they couldn't find her. And she called me one day and she's like, Jill. And I'm like, what? She's like, she just started bawling. She's like, I'm under my bed and my grandkids can't find me. I mean, whatever it is that fuels your fire, right? She'd lost 60 pounds so she could hide under her bed. But what is it that excites you right now? Like, what is it that's going to fuel your fire to be able to say no? And that when you have those wall kicking moments, that you're able to bounce right back. And then eShot helps you bounce right back really quickly.
Yes. And I don't think they were around when you started.
No, we didn't even have the Ice of Delight chocolates, Dr. Ina. Like, I just did it full out without any of the yummy stuff. So
yeah. And that brings me to another question that I have for you is, I heard, and I don't know if you told me this or someone else did, that you did not do full cleanse days for a really long time. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I started out, doing full cleanse days, but what happened, because I'm a food addict, so I would do like a full 2-day cleanse and I'm all or nothing. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I am all in for 2 days, and I would do it perfectly. But then on that next day when I could have a shake and eat regular food, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just did a 2-day cleanse so perfect. I deserve to eat a pizza. And so then I'd go and eat a pizza, and then I'd feel so guilty that I would cleanse again. So it was almost like I was a bulimic, but instead of purging, I was cleansing. I would binge and cleanse and binge and cleanse. And I know there's a lot of you out there that do the same thing, because I work with a lot of you in my course. And so, so instead of doing that, I just decided, okay, Jill, it might be a slower way to do things, which I found that isn't really that much slower, but I decided that I was going to do a shake day every day as a shake day, and I wasn't going to eat any carbs or, past 3. And I went off on my flour, my sugar, like I was really dedicated. But instead of doing full cleanse days, I just had 4 ounces of cleanse. It takes, 4 ounces or 2 scoops to put your body into cleanse mode. So I would have that at night before I went to bed with my Isoflush about 3 hours after my dinner time shake. And I did that, and that's how that I released my first 80 pounds doing it that way. And so for those of you that struggle with cleanse days, know that you don't have to do those cleanse days. You can do the cleanse at night. But I just want to make a disclaimer that I was really diligent about what I ate as well, with going off my sugar and my flour and most of my dairy too. So
Yeah. And that's great. And it is so common, Jill. And I always, when I'm coaching people, when they start to get too into the whole, it's almost like like a binge purge cycle with cleansing, and you keep gaining and losing the same pounds over and over. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it's pretty prevalent for, there's enough people that are doing it. It's
yeah.
not okay. So I love that the nightly cleansing is what really worked best for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So then at what point did you transition into the business side of things? Because now you're a 6-figure earner in our company, and I'm sure people were asking you, oh my gosh, you look amazing. How did that, how'd you move into that?
Yeah, well, I was completely blessed that the only time I've ever paid for my products was the very first month that I was ever on Isagenix. So what happened for me is that the doctor that I worked for, the dentist I worked for, was out of town when I started Isagenix. So I went about the first 11 days without anybody even seeing me. And so I did, the deep cleanse, and I went back to the dental office, and I weighed 263 pounds. So at that weight, no one can really tell that you've lost weight. But when I went in back to work, people were like, what did you do? Like, what's going on with you? Like, your skin is glowing. You look like you feel amazing, and so, and I felt really amazing, and I just had energy. And so the girls at work were like, I want to do whatever you're doing. I'm like, I don't even know. It's called this ISA something. I'll find out more information, And so then, but let me back up a little bit. I didn't have enough money to get my product. I know that's my 30-day system. So I borrowed the money from my mom, and she gave me some for my birthday. And anyway, so then I went to my mom's house, and she was like, you look amazing. I'm like, Mom, it's that stuff that I borrowed the money for. And she's like, well, get me some. And then my sister was like, well, if Mom's doing it, I want to do it. Like, people were just jumping on board really quickly. And so, after the first month, I had enough money to pay for my second month's products. And then a few months after that, I had enough money to pay for my products plus my kids' products. Because when the blender goes, your kids come running. Like they can feel that nutrition in their bodies. They just can. And so I was just excited to be able to get all of our products paid for. And then it was in March of 2012. So I started in 2010, and I just kind of did the business a little bit and got my products paid for. And then through 2011, I really built my business. But it was in March of 2012 that I went to work one day, and I'm like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I'd been a dental hygienist for 22 years, and I just was burnt out, and I wanted to be home with my kids. So I looked at my finances and things, and I had tripled my income at the dental office, and I was working full time there, and I tripled my income with Isagenix. And I was like, I'm out of here. Like, I love my patients. I love the doctors I work for, but I decided to just go home and be able to work from home. And that has been the biggest blessing of my life. And to be able to help other moms do the same thing, or some people love their jobs, but to have an additional income, coming into your household, and to be able to teach people how to even manage their money so that they're able to, that's another passion of mine, is to help people manage their money so that when they do have that income coming in, where to put it and things like that. So I love it. I love everything about it.
So when did you retire from your dental hygiene practice?
It was in March of 2012.
Okay. So, and at that point you had already hit 3-star?
Yeah, so I had hit almost 3. I was like between 2 and 3-star, and then, then I stay between 3 and 4 now. So
Awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
it's great.
So I would love to see if there are questions out there from any of our team members. And if you do have a question, you could just unmute and go right ahead and ask Jill yourself. I know a lot of you had some questions for her, so don't be shy. Just go ahead and unmute and go ahead and ask away.
And question answer is my favorite time. So who's got a question?
And just remember to unmute. Unmute yourself, guys. There's got to be questions. Come on.
If anybody can't figure
Daniel's
it
got
out,
one.
Okay.
I was going to say, if anybody can't figure it out, they can put it in the chat, and I'll see it as well.
I have
a quick question about daily cleansing. So you lost your first 80 pounds just using daily cleansing?
Yeah, so some people think daily cleansing is 2 ounces though, just daily, and it needs to be a full 4 ounces or 2 scoops of the cleanse to put your body into a cleansing mode. So I just did a shake day every single day, but I didn't have my shake past about 6 o'clock, my dinner time shake. And those shakes put your body right into a fat burning zone with a composition of 40-30-30. So after you have your shake at night, you don't want to eat anything else. And so then I'd have about 3 hours after my dinner time shake, I would have my 4 ounces of cleanse with my Isoflush, and then, I'd go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jill, did you use mostly the Isoline Pro shakes throughout your journey, or did you use regular?
They didn't have any Isopro, and it came out when, so I had released about 80 pounds, and then I kind of hit that plateau, right? And I called Jim Rhodes, and I was like, I think I'm at a plateau. He's like, you're not at a plateau if you're not losing pounds or inches for a full 6 weeks. And I was still losing inches, even though, so stay off the scale. You guys, stay off your scale. So, but the inches were still coming off. And so he's like, you're not on a true plateau. But then Isopro came out. And so that's what really, that and with the little wafer snacks, little Scooby snacks, that really helped me get over my plateau. And so, yeah.
So you were adding Isopro to your shake at that point.
And I was just doing 1 scoop of Isoline and 1 scoop of Isopro. And I do that. I just know my body type and when I'm craving something, it's always like a piece of meat. I know that sounds weird, but so I know that my body does really well on protein. And so I just always do a scoop of Isopro with a scoop of Isoline.
Awesome. Other questions? I think someone else had a question before.
Can you hear me, Ina?
Yes, go ahead.
I have our Zyla, who's one of our new team members, on a phone. I think she's listening, but she doesn't know how to unmute from her phone.
I don't know.
Zyla, if you can hear me and you want to type me the question I can ask.
In the meanwhile, if you guys don't mind, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Jill, first of all, it's super inspiring. I mean, it's mind-blowing when I saw your video and, what you achieved, and congratulations. And thank you for inspiring so many people. My question is related on the exercise part of it. What type of exercising, discipline or how was it? And from that part of that side of the story.
Yeah, I would totally love to address that. So, people ask me all the time, they're like, okay, if I want to do the Ice Body Challenge, do I need to hire a trainer? What do I need to do? Well, the first thing I did was I just got my body moving. I mean, at 263 pounds, and I hadn't really been working out that much and things like that. So I just started out like walking, like 20 to 30 minutes, like 3 days a week. And then pretty soon I was like, oh my gosh, because, the first 30 days I felt so good. I was losing weight. And I'm like, I think I could run to that next mailbox. And so I'd run to the next mailbox and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I could run to the next tree or light pole. So I would just like make little things that I could run to, little goals. And then I came home one day and I'm like, I am going to run a 5K. And the reason why I chose running is because I was always that chubby girl in junior high and high school. The PE teacher was always yelling at. And I'm like, I've never been able to run. So I'm just going to find something that I've never been able to do, and I'm just going to do it. And so I came home and I printed offline. It's a little system. It's called Couch Potato to 5K training schedule. And I printed it off and I followed that, and I found a 5K around my area. And after I crossed that line for the 5K and I trained for that, I'm like, I am going right to a half marathon. And so I did, and I printed off, I love Jeff Galloway and Hal Higdon, and I printed off their schedules and I followed the training schedules for the half marathon. And I ended up running 3 half marathons that year. And so that's, and then it was like 3 months before the Ice Body Challenge, like my final entry was due. And I started, going to the gym, and I did, work with a trainer and stuff those last 3 months. And I decided to do a bikini competition, things like that. But it was just, but for those first few months, and I would just come home from like walking and running, and I would just use my own body weight, and I'd do push-ups and lunges and squats and things like that. But I didn't even go to the gym for the first 8 months, and it's not that way for everybody, but that's how it was for me.
And in regards to the frequency or, time of the day, I mean, when did you know it was enough? Or I don't know, what was going on in your head in the days that you didn't feel like it? Because I'm pretty sure that you had those days.
Yeah, I did have those days, and I was working full time, and my husband at the time, he was out of town a lot. So I was pretty much a single mom. So when I did go to the gym, I found a gym that was a 24-hour gym. And a lot of times I would put my kids to bed and I would go to the gym, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, sometimes 11, but I just knew. So I want to talk about the one thing. There's a book called The One Thing. I love The One Thing. My non-negotiable during that whole time was that I was going to exercise every single day. And that was the one thing, that and make my bed. So I guess there was 2 things, because I watched this thing about how if you make your bed every single day, how more organized you are, how your life goes so much better. So, but the one thing was that I was going to exercise at least 20 to 30 minutes every single day. And I knew I couldn't hit my head could not hit the pillow until I did that exercise. So you guys find that one thing, the one thing that's going to get you, one of my friends, her one thing is that she gets up in the morning, puts her exercise clothes on, because if she does that, then she's more likely to go and exercise. So I did it a lot at night, and you hear all the time, exercise first thing on an empty stomach, you'll burn more calories, but I didn't have that option to do it that way. So I don't think it really matters. Maybe it does to trainers, and there might be a trainer on here who's like, Jill, you don't know what you're talking about. And maybe I don't, but it worked for me. And so I would do it in the morning if I could, but I did it at night, if I just had to get it done. So.
And I think
I'm
totally the key. So I think there was another question, sorry.
I think I unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. This is Zyla. I'm somewhat new. I'm about 30 days in my ISA journey, and I just started sharing, not even officially, just kind of posting some positive Facebook posts about how I'm feeling. And I've had lots of great response, but I've had some really interesting response that I'm curious to know if you've come across. It's people who've known me for 10 or 12 years, and they're like, what's with you? What's with your posts? Like, are you selling something? Like, I don't want it. Like, what is it? And I've not said one thing about selling or ISA or anything. All I said is like, it was raining yesterday, and I just wrote, I'm singing in the rain, singing in the shower, singing with my kids, singing in the car, singing, like, I'm just loving my life, and that's it. That's all I wrote. And so I'm just wondering how you might handle somebody who's like, what is this, but in the negative way, or this sounds weird, or why are you doing this, or the negative haters.
I just think that those people are funny. Like, I don't know what their deal is. I don't know. But to me, when I first started Isagenix, and I did it because of my friend Lenny Evans, but when we first started Isagenix, we sent a message to every single person we know, and we were like, it's called Isagenix. I'm your ISA gal. And he wrote, I'm your ISA guy. So people out there know that I do Isagenix. I'm just the Isagenix person. But if you're, out there and you're on your social media and you're not saying the word Isagenix because, so it's just so funny how every millionaire builds a different way. So some people are like, don't say Isagenix. Some people are like, no, I want people to know I'm doing Isagenix. So however it is on your thing, but the person that's acting weird around it, it's about them. Like it's their own stuff going on, and maybe they're just jealous. I posted something on social media today that people are like, you've changed. And I'm like, yes, I have. Thank you very much. But I lost friends in the process. Some friends are like, I don't want to be around you because you're different. And I'm like, yes, I'm working on myself. I'm learning to love myself again. So those people that are, the naysayers, or the people that are thinking that you're weird because you're selling something or whatever, I wouldn't even give a second thought about it. Just kind of just love them from afar, or, bless and release them, or whatever it is. And just keep working on yourself, personally, and keep reading the personal, the personal development stuff, listening to podcasts, things that are going to grow yourself. And you'll soon realize that those people don't even really matter anymore. Is that bad to say?
No, I mean, that's kind of how I felt. And I just didn't know if there was a positive way that, if you even respond to them, or you just kind of say, thanks for noticing my happy self. And I was working with one of my other ISA friends and said, guaranteed in 7 years, that person will be coming back to me, but it'll take them 7 years.
Yeah, and it may. Just be happy. Just keep being yourself. Yeah. And, if they want to say something negative, then just know in your head that it's their own stuff, and you don't even need to address it. Like, you don't even need to say anything back if you don't want to. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, Jill. This is Allie. I have a question for you.
Okay.
I have been with Isagenix for almost 4 years, and I've coached a lot of people. And one of the things that I have encountered, especially with people, I've had some who are, my person who weighed the heaviest was 336 pounds. And she, I find that a lot of them lose maybe, between 20 to 40, 50 pounds. And then something happens, they just kind of disappear, even though I have tried my best to remain in touch and consistent with them, and they disappear. I have somebody now who joined in November and she started at 280, got down to around 250 by February. And, she has stopped her auto ship, and I followed up, and I asked her, hey, how's everything? As I noticed that you're off of the auto ship. Just want to see if I can help you in any way. She was like, no, I know I need to get back on track. And I said, okay, is there anything that I can help you with that? And she said, no, I got it. I'll let you know if I need help. So, do you have any suggestions for how I could handle that, how I could coach them better? What are your thoughts?
So you're doing great. So you have to know that sometimes we want it more for people than they want it for themselves. And we're like, come on, we know you can do it. We know you can. But they're just kind of off in their own little world thinking, oh my gosh, I'm still going to find the magic pill, that I can just take a pill, it's going to come off, and I won't have to work for it. So, and I just have to tell you that I'm the same way with people. And really, people that need to lose over 100 pounds are really sometimes the hardest people to coach, because they have issues. They just do. And I was one of them that had issues, but that's why I created my mindset course. And it's totally different from Healthy Mind and Body. It's just real life stuff, because these people that are holding on to this weight, they're holding on for a reason. So they haven't gotten past the barriers and things from childhood, stuff like that, that's holding them back. from really making a huge, a huge change and shift in their lives. So just know that you are doing great. All you can do is be there for them, check in with them. It's their own issues. It's their own stuff if they're not staying on auto ship and things like that. And they, a lot of these heavier people need a huge support group. So if you have a team support that you can plug them in somehow or plug them into my course or something, but they need some people to rally around them to see that other people are the same way and have the other thoughts around, food issues and stuff like that. So they're like, oh, maybe I'm not so weird after all. But just know that you're doing the best you can. And there's not really much you can do except for love and support them and kind of lead and guide and direct them to maybe some people that have the same issues. And that's why I have my course, because people were calling me all the time. I'd have like 30 to 50 inbox messages, Dr. Ina, I know you can relate with this, but of people wanting my help. And they're like, I know that if you could just get on the phone with my friend so-and-so that needs to lose over 100 pounds, then I know she would stick with it. I know that she would, and I'm like, I can't save the world. So I just put together, just together that are doing it. So just know that you're doing the best you can. And sometimes we just want it more than they want it for themselves. And it might take something health-wise to happen to them for them to finally realize, oh my gosh, I really need to do this for real, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jill, could you share maybe a link or something about your course? Because I know there might be people who are interested in looking into that a little more.
Yep. Okay, it's called 2-Week Turnaround, and I just put it in there, 2weekturnaround.com. And you guys, it's just for women. I love the men, and I'm sorry that it's not for you. But if you have, women in your life that could utilize it, but you can go and read about it. But it's just helping people to identify the blocks that they have and to be able to get past those blocks. And it's, 2 weeks of intense homework and things like that, but I'm there for the whole month to interact with people and to help them through it. And for those of you that are on the line for tonight and for your friends, I put together a code for $10 off. The course is only $49 to begin with, so it's not even that much for an entire month of personal coaching. But the code is Lucky10, and it gives them $10 off. So if they want to jump into the course, they can, and I can help them through their issues and things like that. So
that's awesome. That's so great. I'm sure a lot of people are going to take advantage of that. So
awesome. I would love that.
Any other questions before we wrap up the call?
And I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Jill. This is Lori. I have a couple of people that for the last 3 months, I'd say, keep going back and forth, up and down the same weight. They're not doing any starches. They don't do whole grains or anything like that. They try putting them in and then they gain and they're not losing. So what was your day like? Cause one of my people is a nurse. She sleeps during the day. And then one day a week, she's up for the whole entire day to the next night. Does sleep have a lot to do with it? Cause she's getting discouraged here. So
yeah. Sleep has a ton to do with it. And you guys, stress has a lot to do with it. I don't know, but if you guys know, I got married last year, and a month after that, my husband went into cardiac arrest on our cruise. And it was just crazy stuff. And we were in the hospital for 3 weeks, and I hardly ate anything. Rhonda Collier brought me all this Isagenix products to the hospital. I was just eating bars and shakes, and I gained 15 pounds in a month. Just from the stress, I guess, of it all, because I wasn't doing anything different. So just know that stress and sleep play a huge role in what this is about. So like I said, I went off when I was doing my, my transformation, I went off all of my flour, my sugar, and my dairy. And the only grains I ate, is quinoa and just really healthy, grains, things like that. But I have a protocol around my nightly cleansing. Dr. Ina, do you have a Facebook group that you could post it in if I sent it to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'll send it to you, and it says exactly what I ate, because people are I want to follow exactly what you did. And so I'll send that to Dr. Ina, and she can post it in your group. And that might help, a lot of the people that you're coaching.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We have 26 people on our team that are in the 100 Pound Club, and just because they've followed this protocol, you know, and it's the nightly cleansing protocol, you know, for the first little bit until their brains are ready for those full day cleanses. Just know that John Anderson made our system for full day cleanses though. There's a purpose for that. So just, you know, have them do the nightly cleansing until they're ready to really stick with the program completely and do those full day, you know, cleanses. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I think Daniela has a question about, she wrote in the chat. Did you do just snack wafers, or what kind of snacks did you do, Jill?
So back then, back in the day, and some of you will know that really the only snacks they wanted us to have were those little wafer snacks, and I don't love them, but I did them anyway. And when I hit my plateau and Jim Rhodes told me that I needed to up my wafer snacks to 10 to 12 a day, I wanted to like punch him in the face. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I did, and I did it just because I was the good student and I was, you know, I was going to do what he told me to do. And so I did that, you know, for my snacks. So, but then, you know,
cleanse days still? I'm sorry, you're talking about cleanse days still, right?
Oh, are we talking about cleanse days?
I don't know. You're talking about the
No,
wafer.
Jill was talking about snacks in general, Felissa. So I'm assuming, Jill, right? You're talking snacks on your shake and food days and on your cleanse days.
Yes, snacks on my
So you
food
only ate
days
wafers and shakes?
Yes, and then I'd have like a lunch, you know, for the 400, 600 calories for my lunch. But now, I mean, I've noticed that people are not going to do exactly what I did. Some people are like, you are crazy. I cannot do that. So for my snacks, like I tell people to go get, I mean, there's tons of snack ideas out there, but one of my favorite snacks is to just go get a rotisserie chicken from like Costco or whatever. And I come home and I debone it when it's hot and I just put it in my fridge. And I'll just like have like some of that with like guacamole and like salsa or whatever in a corn tortilla and roll it up and eat it. So there's just like different, just 100 calorie snacks, right? For your mid-morning, mid-afternoon. But I'm a grazer, you guys. I don't know how many people can relate, but I, instead of eating like a big lunch, I'd rather eat. And that's why I love protein pacing. And that's why I love our protein bars, not the isoline bars, but the protein bars. And I just cut those babies in half and I have half in the mid-morning, half in the mid-afternoon. And I just protein pace myself, you know, because I've been getting that 15 pounds off that I gained in the hospital. And so, but just eating all day long. Yeah. Felissa.
Yeah, Felissa.
Yeah, Felissa. So I all day long, and I do that too. Every 2 hours, I'm having some protein and protein pacing. I want to know what Damien says about that whole thing. I mean, he's like, Jill, you're not supposed to be telling people that you didn't hire a trainer. Like, what in the world?
I think if I'm taking notes of you, there's not much I can teach you right now at this point.
I so want to learn. Damien, you've got to get my number. I need all the help I can get.
Sure can. If I can help with somebody, I will.
All right. You're awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes. Did you have any buddies that helped you, fitness buddies that, you know, people that you would go out and do the stuff with, you know, and this is about the shakes or the exercise part of it, you know? And one last question I forgot to ask, you know, when you were starting, you know, when you went for those walks by yourself, did you have like, okay, I'm going to just exercise for X amount of time? Or was it like, okay, I'm just going to do something, feel that I did that one thing of the day and just, you know, mission accomplished for that day and just do that every single day?
Yeah. So I had one stipulation that when I was going to exercise for that one thing, I had to break a sweat. Like and I love HIIT training. So I was doing I bust out a 20 to 30 minute workout just by doing the HIIT training. I used to follow a program called Body for Life by Bill Phillips. And a lot of my before pictures came from doing Body for Life because I was going to win that challenge. And so I followed that HIIT training schedule all those years. And that's what I did for that when I bust out a workout. But I learned to love long distance running. And so I was doing that a lot too, you know. But I just want to close, you know, and I know that we've gone over time. You guys, I could talk for hours. Okay.
We love hearing you, Joe.
But I want to close with this. And here in Utah, we put together like it was a weekly meeting, and you could do it monthly or whatever, but we would bring like everybody together, and it didn't matter if they were on Isagenix or Weight Watchers or whatever, but we would weigh people in, and then every week we'd have people come, we'd put $1 in the pot, and we would weigh them in. Well, pretty soon the people were like, why are all these people losing so quickly? And it's the people that were on Isagenix, right? That were losing so quickly. And so they were jumping on Isagenix with us, but it was the camaraderie. People like were just coming to be supported, and it was that friendly competition. And you know, the person that won, we would do it based on the percentage, like on The Biggest Loser, how they base it on percentage. And I have those numbers if you guys need them, how to do that. But we would do it that way. So the person that won, we'd put a crown on their head, like one of those Barbie crowns. And we would like take a picture of them and post it on Facebook. And then pretty soon people were like, the guys were fighting for the crown. They're like, we want our picture on Facebook. And so it was just fun to be able to, you know, to have that friendly competition. And it just drove everybody to their goals. And so it's just something that I wanted to bring up to you guys, you know, if you want to do that kind of thing in your community, to just kind of rally everybody. And you could call it whatever, you know, a Wellness Wednesday, you could call it whatever you wanted. But that's what we did. And I think that's why we have so many 100-pound club members in our team, is because we just kept that support around them, you know. And we would do like a mind, body, spirit class. So the first 20 minutes would be on your mind, like vision boards, positive thinking, you know, that kind of thing. The next 20 minutes would be on your body, like exercise, nutrition, you know, and that kind of thing. And then the last 20 minutes is on the spirit. And we use the 12-step addiction program around food. And we would follow one of those, you know, you do a 12-week series, and we would follow, you know, step 1, 2, 3. And we just did that all the way up. So there you go.
That's fabulous. Love it. That's an awesome idea. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough on behalf of our entire team, Jill. We are so grateful for your inspiration and for taking the time to share your journey with us. You are so special, and we love you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I love you guys. And if you decide to jump on board in my class, then I'll see you then. It starts next month. So we do it every month. So we'll see you then. And thank you so much for this privilege and honor to be on your team call. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Have a good week. Make it count.
Thank you. Thanks, Ina. Thanks.
Make a difference.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.